you're moving to Downingtown and don't quite know where to buy your home yet, or you live right here in Chester County and need a temporary short-term rental and you're in between homes, or you're a healthy downsizing senior not quite ready for assisted living, welcome to The Point in Downingtown. I had the pleasure of speaking with Camden and I asked him what makes his rental special among all these new recent rental communities that have cropped up in the Exton Downingtown area. This is what he had to say. Let's check it out. So Cam, thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah.
I figured let's tell the viewers about your facility. This is such a gorgeous staycation kind of a place. It feels like a resort. Tell us a little more about The Point in Downingtown.
Yeah, so we're here just outside the heart of Downingtown. Mm-hmm. We have 218 apartment homes.
218?
Yep. Anything from a studio apartment home to a 3-bedroom. We've got something a little bit for everybody here. So it's a nice spread out area. We've got a lot of greenery here too.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. I mean, a lot of apartment buildings, back from my assumption, would not have these outdoor pools and such, which...
Yeah, outdoor pools are a little bit more common. What we really have is all this green space back here in our courtyard.
That is not, like, the assumption would be you want to build everything up and put more units.
Right.
Yeah.
More apartment homes, but really the goal here is to have that resort style feeling on top of it feeling like home.
Okay.
A place with a little bit more permanence, a little bit of something that you can get more comfortable in.
Yeah, no. So how are these? I've always wondered as a realtor, how are these facilities managed? Like the people, so you work for who?
I work for Panko Management.
Panko Management.
Yep. Panko Management runs the Point properties. So we've got 4 in Pennsylvania right now. So there's Westchester, Downingtown, Exton, and King of Prussia. Actually, we have 5, Phoenixville as well.
Oh, so... Okay, and then Panko manages 5 in Pennsylvania, and then they probably have others in other states.
So we have Massachusetts, Maryland, Virginia, and Florida right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's more of a corporate thing.
Right.
And then each facility is managed differently, or like, are you responsible for any of the others in some way? Or?
So I'm only responsible for Downingtown.
Okay.
But we all have like the same set of policies and procedures we go by, which is nice for the residents because if they go to a Point property, they can assume that they're getting that same level of quality.
Okay.
No matter what.
So it's like a Marriott. You enter any Marriott, and the assumption they're all different franchise. So they would be. They're not franchise. Are they different franchise models?
No. So we're all one owner operated.
Okay.
Company,
Yeah. So a Marriott or a Holiday Inn would be, or even the Ritz, there'd be different franchisees, so different ownerships.
Right.
Okay, so this would be almost exactly the same because they're all owned and managed by the same company.
Right, we're all going to be managed the same way. We all have that same level of A+ that we're aiming for, which is nice. So we do situations where, say you wanted to live here, but then you wanted to go to Massachusetts and you found another Point property there, you could transfer to that Point property, which is nice because you know what to expect now that you've been to one.
Wow.
You can get that at the next one.
Yeah, so you're going to take that experience right there, and instead of just starting from scratch as to what rental can I find in this local area,
right?
You just look for a Point property where you're moving to.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know. I'm learning everything about rental communities as we go along here. So, what makes this particular location, and why would I pick the Point as opposed to something else?
Yeah. So the Point at Downingtown, like I said, we're known for our green space here. We've got this large courtyard, but even more than that, we've got walking trails in the front. We're built into this beautiful green hill here. So outdoor space isn't something that people tend to associate with apartments.
Yes.
You tend to think 4 walls that you're kind of stuck within.
Yes.
But here we've got spaces spread out. So between our green space and we've got a pretty large clubhouse here that has a bunch of different amenities, space for you to kind of rest and recuperate and spread out, get to know your neighbors, get to be part of the community.
Wow. So as I walked in the lobby here, I felt like you have separate, like you have conference room and in this little facility that we're sitting in here. So the residents have access to everything. Do they have to sign up? How does it work?
So we have 2 reservable spaces. So you can reserve the conference room or the den, which is where we're sitting now.
Okay.
Otherwise, if they're open, you're more than welcome to use them. But you can reserve those spaces so that you have that space if you need. If you're working from home or if you're having a family party, you don't want to have folks in the apartment, you can have them here instead. That way you don't have to clean up. You can just use our space.
I like that.
Yeah. It makes life a little bit easier.
I don't want to clean up after my people, my guests leave. So, and you mentioned the clubhouse now. Is that available for others to rent, or is it just for your residents?
So the clubhouse is just for the residents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So residents and their guests, but yeah, it's a private area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, you said the signing up would be for the conference room and for the den.
And for
So for
this
the
one.
clubhouse, it's not necessarily a sign up.
Right. So for the clubhouse, you can't really reserve it since it's such a through space. People are always walking through it. We can't really ensure that only you have access to it.
So it's like, okay, I hear you now. So it's like more for the residents to interact rather than for the resident to interact with outsiders.
Right.
Okay, with each other. That's
now,
what.
occasionally you'll see a birthday party or something at
Yeah,
the bar or something like that, and that's totally fine. We want you to have that space to kind of stretch.
Okay. No, I love it. I mean, I had visited one of your events and it was fabulous. It just warmed me to this place instantly, So one of the misconceptions I had was, and always as a realtor, I want to encourage people to buy their homes. It helps build equity, and in the long run, that's financially a good decision. But I know that buying may not be the right decision for everybody. There may not be the right time for everybody. So tell me a little bit about who is your, who are the residents who come here, who find that renting here makes a lot more sense than,
We've got a mixture. So we have some folks who are commuting to different areas. So maybe it's a couple who one of them is going one direction, the other one's going the other, and they find a mid spot here.
Okay.
But we do short-term leases as well. So we do anywhere from 3 to 13-month leases.
That was a question of mine as well. Okay, so you would even do a 3-month lease.
Right.
Okay.
So a good chunk of our residents are folks who have just sold their house
Uh-huh.
and they're waiting on either the perfect home to move into next, or for something to build, or for something to be renovated, and they're just here with us for a short time.
Okay.
And the goal is for that short time to be so fun that when they go to leave, they're a little sad.
Sad
to
to
be
leave.
moving. Yeah, that's the goal. Is that
Right.
even though they've got their perfect home waiting for them, they're sad to leave you.
Right. And then do you have any long-term residents as well?
Sure. Yeah, we have some folks who will stay for a few years at a time. It's always good to have long-term neighbors.
Yeah.
But eventually folks do tend to move on as it is with apartments.
So my assumption would be that business-wise, it makes more sense for you to have people who are living here long-term. The lesser the turnover, the better it is for business. Or is that not?
Yeah, for the most part, as long as your residents are happy, they tend to stay, and happy residents make my life a lot easier.
Yeah.
But we do understand, especially in today's housing market in general, that we're seeing some more transient folks who just need a place to rest their head for a little while.
Yeah, this must be very specific about our current market because the inventory is so low, people just don't have homes. So they've sold their home and they're like, okay, there's nowhere else to go.
Right.
Or, the inventory levels are so low, it helps to just park here for a bit and then,
Right.
consider your options.
They wanted to sell while the market was high, but didn't necessarily want to buy at that time.
Right.
So,
right.
and we've seen a lot of that over the past couple of years here. Since 2020, there's been a lot of changes there.
Wow.
With that. Yeah.
Wow. And one of the things I say is, the financing matters, right? Some people we weren't able to put in offers without a home sale contingency. Right? Like if you have a home sale contingency, good luck winning those multiple bids. That's not going to happen, right? So the assumption is, well, get your money first, sell your home, and have that down payment ready. And now your offer is not contingent upon the sale of your home, so
Right.
it's a better chance of getting accepted as well. So no, absolutely. So one of the things, I have been a Downingtown resident for 28 years, just so you know. One of the things that a lot of my neighbors and peers, when our friends get together at, on Friday evenings or something, they would tell me, look at all these rental communities coming up in our area.
Yeah.
Like there are just so many, suddenly there's so many that popped up in our area.
Yeah.
So tell me more about how you compete with them. How is it good for, the point? Or
Yeah. So again, post 2020, we saw a large push from the cities. So that's why they kind of started putting all of these out here in the suburbs.
So people wanted to move away from the city into the suburbs, clearly.
Yeah.
Post-COVID.
So that was definitely something why we saw such a spike over the last 4 years of development. But then further than that, luckily in this area, specifically this market, we all have such different things that we're putting out there, such different product.
I like that, yes.
So really the goal for anybody who walks through my front door is I want you to be happy here. Because again, happy residents make my life easy, makes their life easy. So we want to find the perfect spot for you.
Okay.
So, and if it's not here, that's okay. We've got a pointed exit, might be there.
Okay.
But it could be anybody in the area because there's so many different products on the market. The only thing that I think, besides the differences between all the properties, is you have a difference in staff there too. So when we're competing against each other, really what you're looking at when you come to an apartment, they might all start to blur together as you're touring them.
Yeah.
You will remember that person.
That's impressive.
The people you should remember when you leave and you sit down and you think, where do I want to be at the end of all of this? In my mind, you want to be somewhere that feels like home. And there's nothing that makes it feel more like home than the people.
Yeah, no, I agree because that's where I'm starting my rental. I meant to do a few rental communities, but this was my first thought because the people are friendly, I like it. So yeah, ultimately it's just an apartment. It might look like any other, but how, the staff interacts with you, the feeling that you get coming home when you come back to your apartment, that's important, right?
We want you to have that exhale when you come home from work. Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you are home.
I'm home, like I can relax. This is...
Yes, these are friendly people. These are my people around here.
Yeah. We have like the 24/7 emergency maintenance. We all have that, but we want you to be able to count on it.
Yes.
We want you to know that if you have life happen at 3 a.m., the maintenance technician who comes out is going to know exactly what he's doing. He's going to be kind. He's going to be not upset to be there. All of those things. So we make sure all those boxes are checked.
Wow, and I know you have several events, a lot.
Yes.
Do all rental communities have events?
So to some degree, yeah.
Okay.
And it's in varying amounts.
But no one parties like you guys.
I do pride myself on throwing a nice party. That's a big deal for us. We have 2 to 3 a month.
Really?
Normally it's one bigger one than 2 smaller ones. So we're like for Mardi Gras, we've got a movie showing, and our friends from Comcast are coming out for us, and we're doing a couple things with them.
Wow.
We've got some Mardi Gras masks and stuff going on. But then later in the month we have trivia as well. So we've got a DJ who comes in from Westchester for us, and he does a trivia pretty frequently for us.
So you just keep your residents entertained the whole time. It's like,
yeah. It's one of the nice parts of apartment living.
Yes.
Is that if you want to go, you have the option.
Yes. And if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yep. You don't have to. You don't have to drive into town. Also, you don't have to take an Uber. You don't have to do any of that. You can just walk down from your apartment home, come into the lobby, and have a night out.
Or you could be a curmudgeon and stay in your room. Yeah, I'm sure you have a few of those as well.
Or if you don't want to, you don't have to. But we have PJ Wilhan's across the way, so some folks just walk right over there too.
So that is the thing. I was actually doing a little bit of research online on your website, and the walkability factor is pretty good too over here. You can walk places.
And you don't think about it as much when you think Downingtown. But over the years here, they really have made it so this specific area, you can walk to PJ Wilhan's, you can walk to Wegmans, to BJ's.
Yeah, and there's between those two strip malls, there's a whole lot going on over there.
There's a lot to do. You can walk to Home Depot, but carrying wood back is
I know. No, you don't need the whole point of rent is you don't need the wood, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
I know. I love that. You're constantly competing with the others, and the best way that you compete is by the service that you offer and the friendly people around here. Right. So that's why people would choose your facility.
Sure, it's a beautiful product. We all have beautiful properties here, beautiful communities, but really the sense of community and the people and the level of service is my goal to always stand out. There.
That's incredible. Though not all of them have beautiful properties. Because I have had some clients come back and tell me, I don't want to.
It's not where I want to be.
Yeah, exactly. So, this is all new and nicely decorated. Like, clearly the company has paid some interior designers to make it look fabulous too. So it's not just, here's a block and just go in and bring your own furniture. And speaking of furniture, you do have furnished and unfurnished, or?
So we don't. So we're unfurnished. We do work with furniture rental companies, so like Court or AFR, who specialize. So if you're doing a short-term lease and you moved everything out of your home and you don't feel like moving it a couple of times and you'd rather just put it in storage and wait, AFR will come in and furnish your apartment. Court will come in. They'll drop it all off with us. Make sure everything's in the apartment. By the time you move in, everything's already set up. And when you leave, you just take your belongings with you and they'll come pick it up for you.
Wow.
So it makes the process significantly easier, especially for short term.
Yeah.
So what do people do generally? Your residents, your short-term residents, do they move all of it into storage and use that service, or they move some things here and then move the rest into storage? Pretty much.
It depends. So some folks we have who, especially between house sales, might be coming from a 4-bedroom home.
I know, 3,000 square feet, and now to this tiny.
And they might be staying in, 2-bedroom because they think, oh, well, I don't want to spend any more on something that I don't need in the in-between, which is totally fine. But then you have this weird in-between downsizing effect where they're like, I don't know what I should take with me, what I should leave behind. I don't know what I have. So they're going to end up generally with storage anyway. When they look for a new house.
Right.
So for those folks, that's generally when we see them kind of bring some things. It might be, you know what, I can't live without my bed. I need my king bed. Tempur-Pedic. So they might bring some items and opt in for other ones. Then some folks will just do the whole package.
No, that makes sense.
Because they'll even do like dishes and stuff. So
really?
Yeah. So you can pack everything away if you really want to, or you can.
And I've been inside some of your apartments. They're very contemporary looking. They're really nice.
Yeah, it's a European style kitchen.
Yeah.
So we kind of borrowed that from our neighbors over the sea there, and it's got this kind of upward tilt to all of the cabinetry that I say is short person friendly, because you don't have to worry about knocking your head on it.
Oh, okay.
If you're my height and that cabinet door is open, you can walk right underneath it.
Yeah. So it's interesting you say that. I was reading your reviews online on Google and such, and somebody didn't quite like it. I think they didn't like that European style. It was a little too tall for short people or something like that. But there's always do you read your reviews all the time?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So all of our reviews, I go through all of them personally.
You do?
I don't take them personally, but this is my second home. You have to think I spend more time here than I do at my own home. So I learn from those. I pick things up from those. If I see there's a pattern, I make changes and
exactly.
kind of use those that way.
Exactly.
Now with the cabinets, I don't. In my own home, I have a stool in my kitchen. I'm pretty short. I'm not super short, but I'm not tall enough to reach the top shelf. So I use
the cabinets are what they are. What I love about that is the tall ceilings, right? It gives that illusion of height even when the square footage is small.
And the taller a ceiling, normally the higher the cabinet.
Yeah.
Because they have to proportion it right on the wall.
Right.
So you get that benefit of these large ceilings, these 9-foot ceilings, so that you don't...
And the windows and the glass light coming in.
And you don't feel like you're in an apartment home because you have these tall ceilings. Sometimes cabinets are a little bit higher to make that sit right on the wall.
I know. I always have enjoyed reading the reviews because it's so much fun. But then there's so many positive things there for you guys as well.
Yes.
So I love it. So Cam, how would people reach you? Like, tell us a little bit about if somebody's interested in renting this place. Is the website the best place? How do we?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is thepoint@downingtown.com. You can reach out to us directly. So we have a leasing email. It's called leasingdowningtown@pencomgt.com. Or you can just give us a call. 484-568-4528. That'll get you right into the office. We do have an on-call center, so if you're having to call after hours, they can always get you some information, then pass your info along to us so that we can reach out to you. Yeah.
Perfect. And tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been working here, and why rental communities as opposed to doing anything else?
Yeah, so Penco took over the property in December of 2021. So I've been here since takeover. And I actually love this job. This is I did a lot of random jobs before this. I tried my hand at everything. I like working with people. I think people are fun. I think they make things worth it. And I like the back end stuff too. I like all the math and everything, but the people are really what kind of drives you. So most people can't walk into work and say, I love my job.
Right.
But you
folks,
do? I do. It's a rare day that I wake up and think, I don't want to go to work today. I am consistently having fun, talking to new people, learning new things, finding out all kinds of stories. Everybody has a story, I think, is a big one.
Yes.
You probably see that a lot, too. Everybody's got these stories that are fantastic.
I know. I have so many of them myself. I say, I've got to write a book someday. Every realtor has enough stories for a book.
Yeah.
But, and I know you love dogs.
I love dogs.
So tell us a little bit about your dogs.
I love dogs. Yeah, we are pet friendly here. Yeah. So a good amount of our residents have dogs. We have dog-centered events. We have cats who come down too on occasion.
Let's not
Yeah.
discriminate here,
Yeah,
right?
we'll take any pets. We love them here. We got.
So that's very interesting because I do some rentals, going back to, and a lot of the homeowners, the individual homeowners who rent their properties, they're very reluctant to have pets.
Sure.
And there's additional security deposits and things like that for them, and they're worried about the pets destroying their home.
Yeah, and it's always a possibility,
Okay.
If you have somebody who maybe doesn't know what they're doing quite yet with their animal or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's something, luckily, we do preventative maintenance. So we pop into the apartments every 6 months to check on smoke detector batteries and HVAC units and everything like that. And during that time, if we're seeing a pattern where it's like, hey, you might need some help here with your dog, that's something that we can address as we go, which kind of mitigates that damage factor.
So you're there hands-on. And all that.
Right.
Knowing you probably know every single dog there is on the premises right now. You could probably recognize them.
I know most dogs' names. I am almost as good with people's names as I am with dogs. But dogs, I'm a little bit better. We do keep pepperoni in the office, and we keep treats right outside. So any chance to pet a dog is a
So
good
guys,
chance.
this is Cam, pet-friendly and gorgeous resort-like facility in the Point at Downingtown. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
for
much,
talking to
Bela.
me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.